Hi everybody, welcome back. My name is Lynn and I am Pretty Papercrafts 67, and today we're going to have a go at making a waterfall card. Waterfall cards are, there's many videos on waterfall cards over at YouTube. There's something that I have made in the past and I have used them in the past to add into mini journals and photo albums and things like that. And I guess primarily that's what a waterfall card is, or yeah, a waterfall card, that's what they're called, is lovely for memory keeping. But this one, I'm following Sam Calcott's video, and I have never made one that's inside a card before. So I thought they were a really great idea. A very interactive project. So this one here has 6, the one we're going to make today has 6 cards, and they just basically flip out like a waterfall style, and then they flip back in like that. So yeah, just a very nice interactive piece of ephemera. And I thought, well, why can't we make one for a junk journal situation kind of thing? So this one here, this one I've made very you know, pretty, florally, shabby kind of feeling. But this one here I've made more in your Tim Holtz grungy kind of style. And this one here, I've put a pocket on my front cover. But again, it just pulls out and it's just a really nice interactive element. You could put photographs on there, you could journal on there, you could decorate your pages. You've got more journaling space on the back should you wish, or more decoration. And yeah, they're just something a little bit different to have in a journal. They're a nice slim style, so they'll fit really nicely into a pocket. Or you could put your whole slider card, you could stick it down onto a page in your journal. You could stick it down 3 sides and have a pocket at the back. That does create some bulk in your journal. But yeah, I just think why not make something a little bit interactive. Beautiful happy mail, snail mail idea. If you have a good friendship, you could fill it full of photographs and then send it off. So yeah, a really nice idea. Now please excuse me, I do have a bit of a sore throat this morning, so I might be drinking some coffee through the video. Okay, so there are a few steps in a waterfall card. If you've never made one before, they can be a little bit intimidating, but if you break it all down, it's not hard at all. So I'll explain the pieces and then we'll just get on and make one. So first of all, you're going to need a piece of cardstock at 11 inches long by 4.5 inches wide. Now I am using this as a double-sided cardstock and it's a fairly decent weight. If you've got something thinner, I would probably suggest in areas that you reinforce that, but I'll point those areas out as we're going along. So one piece of 11 inches long by 4.5 inches wide. We need a second piece. This is our mechanism piece, and that one's at 9.5 inches long by 3 7/8. We need a 1 inch strip of 8 inches long by 1 inch wide. And then here we need 6 pieces. 6 pieces of cardstock at 4 inches by 4 inches square, and 6 pieces of patterned paper at 3 7/8 by 3 7/8 square. So that is pretty much what you will need to make the project. So we will go back and we will just work. There's a little bit of scoring involved, but not a lot. There is a fair amount on this piece, but two lots of scoring really. Now I do have some notes here which I'm going to refer to just for score and measurements. I just wanted to show you, here is another little one here that I have played with. I've just stuck it into my work journal, and again it's just a really easy little flip out. So there are many styles and lots of tutorials on YouTube if this one doesn't work for you. So But yeah, anyway, so what we're going to do, we're going to do our scoring. So on our very first piece, which is the 11 by 4.5. I'll just grab my score, my bone folder. So I am using a scoreboard because I do find it difficult to score a straight line. But if you can do that without a scoreboard, you don't have one, you can measure it up onto the grids of your mat and just use your bone folder and a ruler. But anyway, for this one, on the 11-inch side, we are going to simply score this piece at 5.5 inches. So pretty much straight down the middle. And then this piece then now becomes our card blank, our card face, this part here. So that is this. So that's pretty straightforward. Now I do have a piece of patterned paper cut ready that I will put on that in a moment. So I'll just put that to the side. Then we've got our second piece here, which is the 9.5 by 3 7/8 inches. Now this one does have quite a few score marks, but they're fairly easy to follow. So we're going to start off on the 9.5-inch side. We are going to score at, just got to find all my measurements. So we're going to score at 3 1/4. So 3 1/4, and then we're just going to take it up 1/4 inch. So we've got 3 1/4, 3 1/2, 3 3/4, 4, 4 1/4, 4 1/2, and then the last one is 4 3/4, 4 1/2, 4 3/4. So they're 1/4 inch score marks, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gaps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is pretty much our scoring done. So now in this section here, you just need to take your time with this one a little bit, and you need to fold on all those 1/4 inch score marks. And probably I would suggest in this section, take a little bit of time and do it well, because this piece here is the mechanism for the whole sliding section of the waterfall card, the pull out section. So it can be a little bit difficult because they are tiny areas, 1/4 inch. But if you just take it slow and just fold each one really, really well at this stage, then you won't have any problems with your pull out mechanism. I've still got a couple more here, one more lot that needs folding. Okay, so what you're kind of looking for is that sort of thing, so that it'll sit like that in a U shape. So just again, make sure you've scored along all those little marks, and that is good to go. All right, so we'll pop that one away again for now. Now I'm going to bring in, we've got our 8-inch by 1-inch piece. I'll keep that to there because that will come into play in a little while. Now we've got these 6 pieces of 4x4 cardstock and 6 pieces of 3 by 7/8 patterned paper. Now I just want to point out that is, I only like, when I'm doing a border for a card or whatever, I only like about 1/8 inch border between my cardstock and my patterned paper. Many card makers like that to be about 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch border between the cardstock and the patterned paper. So that is very much personal choice. But I've got 5 of them already done. So I've just popped my patterned paper down on top of my cardstock, and I've just got one here to show you my piece of pattern paper, my piece of cardstock, and I'm just going to glue that on to the top of that. And these are our waterfall element pieces. All right, so we'll do that piece and we'll just lay it down. About like that. So they can now, I'm just going to give that a bit of a burnish. Okay, so, pardon me. We've got the 6 of those. Okay, so we will come back here to our card front, and I'm just going to pop this piece down on my card front and get that sort of done. And I am using art glitter glue, but for putting patterned paper down on cardstock, you probably could get away with glue stick. But when we come time to add our elements on our waterfall elements, then I would suggest using a nice sturdy good strong glue, because it's, yeah, it gets a bit weighty. There's a lot of elements there holding onto that one little mechanism, so you want it to be nice and strong. All right, so that is our card front. And then you can go ahead, as I've done, you can decorate them up in any style that you like, whether you like Tim Holtz grunge or whether you like shabby chic or yeah, however you like. So that's personal choice, but that's the card blank done. All right, now we're going to head on over to our mechanism piece. So what we want to do, we have all our score lines, and it's probably hard to see. I don't know whether you can see those. And I'm not using ink, and I'm not going to be using sewing in this one. I have sewn along here, so that's always a choice. You can sew. I've sewn in this one all my elements before putting it together. Another version is, which I have done on this first one, I've rounded all the corners of my cards and the actual base card. So that's again a personal choice. You can keep them straight, or you can round your corners. So that again is completely personal choice. But I'm just going to keep them straight for today. So basically what we want to do in this section here, we want to lay a card into each of those score marks in between. So we've got 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we've got 6 cards. So I will go ahead and do this, and then hopefully it will become clearer to you. So I'm just going to lay some glue down in the middle of that score mark. Or those 2 score marks, you've got like the 1/4 of an inch gap, and I'm just going to very carefully, if I can, lay that down. I want to keep my top and bottom edge nice and straight, and I'm just doing that. So I've just laid it down in between that first score mark, and I'm just going to go along and do that for all 6. Again, this is an area that you want to sort of be a little careful with, because again, this is the mechanism of the card, and so the more time you take here, the better your end result will be. Now the other thing, as I'm sticking them down, I'm just going to try and keep them nice and flush with each other. And then, yeah, we just keep going along. And up, and popping them down. I'll leave that one to dry for a bit because I don't want them to stick to each other. So in between that score mark, and keeping them level top and bottom with the cards already placed on there. So just like that. And then we've got 3 more to go. My glue's starting to run out. That's all right, I've got more. And that one there. Again, keeping it flush with the other cards, or as flush as you can. I mean, if you're out a little bit, it doesn't matter. But yeah, just trying to pay just attention here as we go along. See, they are out a little bit. And then we've got 2 more to go. I'm just going to do those two together. Okay, so we'll take one and put the first one in that first score mark, keeping them level top and bottom, or as level as we can. And then our last one there. All right, so that is all our waterfall elements on the card. Now I'm just going to spend a little bit of time here, and I'm just going to burnish them really well. That is a lot of bulk through there, and I just want to make sure that everything that needs to be glued is glued. So I just really want to spend a bit of time there. All right, so then we've got this longer piece here, the shorter piece there. We're going to flip this longer piece around, and that becomes our waterfall. Now once that's dried a little bit, then I'll come back in and I will fold them all backwards and give them a nice tight burnish. But for now, I'm going to leave it just like that. Now this very back piece here, what we're going to do here is I am going to pop a little bit of ribbon onto there just for our pull. So I've just got some satin ribbon here. You can make that pull as long or as short as you want it to be. I'm sort of going to make it about there. So I'm just going to run some glue down along here. And I'm going to just reinforce that as also. Now that's maybe a little bit too long, but the other ones that I've done have been quite short. So I think I wouldn't mind that a bit longer. These ones here have been a little bit short, I think. Although they still work, they still fit in place, but I'm just going to have a little bit of an experiment with this one being a bit longer. And what I want to do, I just want to reinforce that. So I'm just going to pop some cardstock just over the top of that. You won't actually see this section when it's completed. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that over the top of my ribbon. It also just helps to keep this back section a little bit reinforced. And again, no measurements on this one. I've just eyeballed it just to fit between the card edges, and I want it up there around about just to hold that ribbon into place. So I know, because that is what is going to, that's our pull to create their waterfall effect. So I want that to be nice and sturdy through there. All right, so then I'm going to also come back to this section. I'm just going to trim that a little bit there. I've got it a little bit hanging over like that. Now this part here you will see as it comes, as you're pulling it out. So this again, I'm just going to pop this little bit of pattern paper down on here, and so I'm just about there. I'm just going to trim that up with my trimmer. Hopefully that is the right measurement. So that's that one, just to fit inside. Yep, and I'm just going to cut that down at about 3 inches. That's good. Just to, I'm sorry guys, it's really hot here, so I'm just wiping my face. Oh, I tell you, I'm done with summer this year. This has been shocking here in Queensland, Brisbane. All right, so I'm just going to pop that little piece of patterned paper over the top of that as well. And then, as I have done in my other cards, if you really wanted to make sure that it was nicely reinforced, you could come back along with the sewing machine and just sew along that top edge. All right, and I'll show you what I mean by what I've just said. So on this one here, when you pull out your waterfall, I have sewn along that top edge just to reinforce that even more, because that is what makes the whole mechanism work, that little pulley ribbon. All right, so now I'm just going to go through my waterfall, and I'm just going to just fold them back and just give them a good burnish. Because again, the more time you take doing this, the better your end result's going to be. All right, so there we go. That's our waterfall section. Waterfall elements in place. We've got our pull in place. Now, on the very last waterfall card, there is this half piece here. Well, not quite half, about 3/4. What we want to do on this piece is, this is where this 1 inch, it's 8 inches by 1 inch comes into play. So we are basically going to lift up this piece here, and I'm going to put my piece, my 8-inch piece, around about, eyeballing it around about middle. And I'm just going to just tuck that behind. Like I said, I'm just eyeballing this. Tuck it about there and keeping it level and tucking it around about there. So that's the sort of thing we're looking for. Now this piece here is going to attach here, and we're going to pull our back cover up, and it is going to wrap around our back cover. So again, I'm just going to spend a bit of time just making sure that that is nice and straight. Again, you won't see this piece, but this is what is, again, part of the workings of the card. So that is a little crooked, but you won't see it as long as it's held in place. All right. So we'll pop that down, and now we're concentrating on this little half piece here. I'm going to grab my glue. I'm going to take the hinge and turn it this way on the inside, and I'm going to lay glue between those two score areas. So we'll just put this down here. Now this section here, we're going to place about a 1/2 inch down from the top. Just like that. Now I know that's probably difficult to see pink on pink, but I'll pick it up and try and show you. So yeah, just in there, that section there, and then your parts come out the back, and then the, well, what I'm trying to say is those sections at the back will wrap around that very back part of your card. But for now, we'll just leave them out like that. So that is attached to this piece here. I hope that's clear. Now, the next thing I want to do is, when you're pulling your waterfall, you're going to have each card sort of flap, 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 flap. And then this last card, it will also try to flap up. So instead of having it like hanging in the breeze like that, I am going to put this card down onto this section here. So I'm just going to put some glue all over this piece that we've just laid the little 1 inch strip on. So that's stuck down nicely onto there. And then I'm going to lay the very last waterfall card down onto the top of that as well. So then that stops that from kind of like flapping in the breeze a bit. Okay. Now we get, see, it's almost done. So it's quite a lot of little bits and pieces, but quite an easy project. Okay, so that's what we've got. Now we're going to bring back in our card. So we've got our card here like this, and we want to lay the card in here like so. So these flappy bits at the back, we're going to turn those around, and we're going to use these flappy bits to stick them into the card. Now, this is important, when you're gluing your card into the base, you don't want to put glue on anything other than these flappy bits here, because that's your pull mechanism. And if you stick that down, then you won't be able to pull your waterfall card out. So it's just glue just on these hinge pieces, these little flappy pieces. And then I'm going to take my waterfall. I want to level it up. I want to level it up with my center score mark, like about there, just a little bit short, a little bit on this side of the score. And then I'm just going to press that down, and that will press down my waterfall, press down those flaps that we've just glued. Give that a really good burnish. And there you have it. Fingers crossed. There you have a waterfall card. So simple. And it's just such a really nice little interactive project in a journal, or just like I said, really nice for a happy mail. Beautiful gift. You could put photographs of special occasions, and then, you know, they all flip out like so. You could, as I've done in this one, you could put a pocket on the front to house some ephemera, which I thought was great for sort of adding into your junk journals. Yeah, sky's the limit with how you want to decorate. But that's really as simple as it gets. It's, like I said, lots of elements, but if you take it one by one, it's really not a hard card to create. So there you go. If you've never made one before, or you have made one before and think, oh, what a great idea, I'll incorporate one into my new project, then yeah, just something something that is probably one of those card making ideas that I don't see why we can't incorporate into our junk journals. So I will link Sam's video below if you want to go over and check hers out. She's a very, very creative card maker. Beautiful, beautiful work. So I'll link that below, and I'll also write the measurements down for you should you wish to have a go at making one of these yourself. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you find that fun. Enjoy your Monday, and I'll see you all again soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.